Hey guys, today I'm going to be reacting to a video called France Gourmet School Lunches. So let's check it out.
Every day has an hors d'oeuvre, a main course, the sauce that changes every day.
Okay, it's very gourmet.
Cheese that changes
That's
every
the
day.
menu for the lunch program at a public school in Paris.
And it's a public school.
5-course meal for 3-year-olds. A menu not only given to parents so they know what their child is having for lunch, it even recommends what families should serve for that night's dinner.
You don't want your child to have fish for lunch and fish for dinner.
Vivian Walt is a writer for Time magazine, and her 3-year-old son goes to a public school in Paris. And her experience illustrates just how seriously the French schools approach meals.
Like a cookavan.
The menus are designed to provide a balanced meal, but also to introduce children to the tremendous variety of French cuisine. I was there the day they served bouillabaisse, and yeah, that's me in a bunny suit, because they go to extraordinary lengths for food safety. Each of the city's 20 school districts has a central kitchen like this, a high-tech, ultra-hygienic facility, because children, especially young children, are more susceptible to foodborne illnesses.
They get sick.
They clean every bottle, every bag, every piece of fruit.
So there's nothing that leaves this place to the kitchen that has not been disinfected.
Okay, good.
The meat, they were proud to tell me, not only born and raised, but
abattu en France.
which even in the U.S. is no guarantee of quality or safety.
Like they're
but in
organic.
Parisian schools, they keep small samples of every meal for 2 months, just in case of any suspect illnesses. And in the U.S., schools generally offer vegetables at lunch, but children just don't eat them. Here, the dietitian isn't above deep frying the broccoli.
Une manière un petit peu cachée de leur faire manger des légumes.
But a bigger concern is the rise in childhood obesity, fueled partly, experts say, by the popularity of fast food.
Yeah.
C'est facile, c'est simple. Là, vous voyez, j'avais faim et finalement, je trouve que c'est assez pratique. On est servi rapidement.
Yeah.
One of the very first things that they will always tell you is about how Americans gobble their food. And it's one of the things that drives the French nuts about Americans.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
so
But I went to City Hall to talk to the woman in charge of all the public schools in Paris. Rosai Colombe is her name. And she believes that eating is
also a pleasure because
It is?
you share with your friends in school, your family at home, and you share some food, but you also share time, conversation, and this is also a point that is important to me.
It is.
Well, in a Parisian school, the lunch costs around $5, $6, and the family pays what they can afford. The city picks up the rest.
Oh.
But even in a small town 400 miles to the south of Paris, where the budget is about half that, the
What's
chef
cheaper?
there insists
C'est pas parce qu'ils ont pas le droit de vote qu'on doit se foutre de leur gueule, quoi.
This is Dominique Valadier. He's the chef at a local high school, and he has to feed 800 students every day for the equivalent of about $2.50 a plate.
Wow.
It's ironic because 20 years ago, he was a chef at one of the biggest casinos on the Riviera.
J'ai servi la reine d'Angleterre.
Well,
Elle a mangé du cassoulet, je m'en rappelle.
that's better?
He
What's
married
harder?
a teacher, and when their schedules and vacations, never meshed, he left the Riviera and the Queen to cook for kids, but brought with him his passion for cuisine. He insists everything be made by hand. He refuses to take shortcuts, even making his own fish stock so that nothing goes to waste.
Well, he's a chef.
C'est bien meilleur. Parce que ça a beaucoup de goût.
Yeah, of course he's gonna make his own stock.
Most mornings he goes to the market.
Je
He's a true
cherche
chef.
les légumes qui viennent d'ici. Le plus possible.
Yeah, better quality.
The menu that day included roast beef, handmade ratatouille turnovers, carrot salad, and mussels.
Oh
all
my.
fresh. And just as younger children are introduced to typical French cuisine, at this school, kids are eating escargot.
Yeah, because
it's snails.
Yeah, but it's
One
normal
student
for
even
them.
feels it's better than what he's getting at home.
At home, I mean, I eat the usual thing, normal things like everybody do, like pasta, like pizza, normal. And when you get here, it's really good,
Better
like
than
good for your
home.
health.
The French, as we know, are proud of their cuisine, which is why Vivian, you remember Vivian, well, when her son started nursery school, she'd signed him up for the lunch program, then decided maybe she'd bring him home, feed him, he could take a short nap. She neglected to tell the administration, and one day got a phone call requesting that she come to the school immediately.
I thought something was really wrong with my son. I ran out the door, I ran down the street, run up to her office, walk in, and she's sitting there with my file in front of her, and she says, "What does your son eat for lunch?" Because, of course, we had signed him up for the lunch program. And I had changed my mind without letting them know.
So Vivian agreed that her son would eat lunch at school every day and was sent home with a menu detailing what the child would be eating every day for the next 2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
This to me is a work of art. And these are 3-year-olds we're talking about.
Yeah, so like grapes with chocolate, like they look so good. Okay, this was incredible. I was like, oh, am I being a little bit like cliche about this whole thing of like, well, do they eating like a lot of gourmet foods? No, I was right. Like they are eating that. It's incredible. I think there's like so many, like, I don't know if because they do mention like it's only Paris. So I don't know if it's all in France, all different cities in France, or it's just Paris and like the surrounding areas, maybe the greater metro Paris area. But it would be incredible if they did this like in the whole country. But I love, like, everything looks so good. I love that all the foods are like, everything looks like out of like a restaurant. I wouldn't imagine, and I wouldn't really associate like all these like escargot or roast beef with like homemade pasta, with made pasta, not something that you bought at a store. I wouldn't obviously associate those meals with a school lunch. I would associate that with like a restaurant. So it is funny that it's like, okay, it's better than eating like at a restaurant. It's like you're eating this, like you wouldn't ever want to leave school. It's like, no, it's incredible. It's so funny that the asked, like, I think he was like a teen, and he was like, I think I eat better here than at home. It's like, wonder what his parents actually think about this. It's like, okay, maybe hopefully they didn't really look at this interview, because they were like, well, you know what, we're not making you meals anymore. Maybe you can cook for yourself if you don't really like what we're feeding you. Because it's like, no, of course I'm eating better, but I understand, making fun of it, but it is true. Like, if you always say you're eating here, you're eating like a five course meal, of course, like, everything's gonna pale in comparison. And if there's an actual chef, like a 4-star chef that worked at the French Riviera for like 20 years, of course you're not going to compare yourself to the chef. It's like, well, yes, of course they're going to feed you like better things at school than what I can give you at home, because again, like, parents are just like their parents, they're not chefs. Like, this guy is an actual chef. So it's so funny that he's just like, yes, he's like working at a restaurant when he like wakes up very early, he goes at a market, and then he probably like sees what kind of like things are fresh, which I think is a very chef-like thing to do. Like, they wake up early, they look at the things like, well, what produce is good, what kind of fish is fresh, and what kind of things that you can get at a supermarket that are fresh. And he said it, like, I'm looking at things that are produced and are grown here, because usually those are better quality and usually they're cheaper. So of course, like, he has like that chef mentality, but just like, instead of like a restaurant planning like the meal for a restaurant, like, he's planning it for school. So I love that, because it's like he's basically doing the same thing that he did like back when he was chef, but instead of a restaurant, like, it's here at a school. But I love all the things. Like, they were like, actually, like, there's like natural sauces, like they're making stock. There was like sauce for like your meat. It's not just like ketchup or like mayonnaise, mustard. No, they actually do make the thing. There's like ratatouille, like, I think I once like an omelette. Like, there's like so many things. And also like basmati rice, the jasmine rice, with so many like great, with like some other things. So I love it. And they even had like a dessert that looked incredible, that it was just, I don't know, like a meal few or something. I don't know, like, there's a lot of things that is not just like, I don't know, like pound cake, or maybe like they give you like I don't know, some packaged like pre-packaged candy. No, like they made them themselves. So it's like, no, it's incredible. And the whole thing about like the woman being, oh, like, no, I took out my kid, and they were like so worried about this, like, what is your kid eating? Like they really do take it seriously. And I don't know, again, if it's just like one thing in particular about like this couple, or maybe this type of school, or it's just like an unusual thing in France, because it would be incredibly funny if the whole country of France worked like that. Because again, it's like, I know they take it seriously, because obviously French cuisine is very famous, obviously worldwide. But it's funny that they got it's like, well, you can see why they started the kids earlier with this. And obviously they're like, well, you know, it's like 3-year-olds, and they're very small children, and they put like that much effort into their food. But I think it's good, because that's how you create like grown adults that A, eat everything, and B, you know, they're not picky about what they're eating, and B, you know, they're used to like eating good food, and I know that every food is not inherently like good or bad, but they're just like eating good food and good meals, like maybe made at home, instead of like going for like prepackaged stuff and maybe like fast food, because you know their taste buds do get acclimatized and do get used to eating that kind of food. And I think it's obviously a way to, like they said, to combat obesity and you know, just like a healthier lifestyle, instead of like going for fast food, which is not, in, you know, again, fast food is not bad, it's very convenient. Obviously we like the woman that they interviewed like said, it's convenient. Like if you don't have any time, you know, you're running late, like it's easier to just like grab a bite to eat at like some chain food restaurant. But it shouldn't be the norm, and it shouldn't be like what you're eating every day. Like it's fine as a treat every once in a while, but you shouldn't like do this like every single day for lunch. So it is good that if you get used to this, you're not gonna crave it. You're not gonna be like, oh man, I'm craving like a burger from like this thing. No, it's like, it's gonna be like, I want to cook a home cooked meal, and it's because again, you're used to that, to eating that way. And I think that's usually a very American thing to think of. Like they're not to generalize, but I think Americans are very used to like eating like a lot of fast food. I don't think that's, again, not everyone, but a lot of people. So you can really do see the difference, and especially again with like school lunches, where the thing is like, you just like, you get what it is, and everything's prepackaged, everything's pre-made. Like everything they do it like by hand. So you can see the difference, and I think that's good. It influences kids to actually like eat a certain way, so then when they become adults, they can maybe eat and maybe choose healthier options, which, you know, it's so good. Like it pays off to actually like the amount of effort that it takes. But it's like, yes, but you're gonna see this reflected in society in like 20 years, 25 years, when these kids grow up to be adults. So it is very good. And I think it's actually very funny that they were like, oh, in like Americans gobble their food. I think that was so rude, but at the same time I get what they mean. Like I think in France, and usually I think it's actually a very European thing, and a lot of countries in Europe have that, of like when you're sitting down to eat a meal, like a meal is an occasion. It's a thing of like, we're sitting here, we're sharing the space, we're sharing a meal, we're sharing, and we're not just like sharing food, we're sharing your company. Like we're I don't know, it's like, it's a thing about like, it's experience. I think it's not just like, oh, I'm eating like blah, blah, blah. No, it's a thing about, hey, you know, we're taking this moment to actually like share with each other. And I think, again, I think it's not just a French thing. I think it's a very European experience, and it's different from the American kind of way. I think probably because people are usually like eating on the go. Like there's not a thing about let's just sit down and have a meal. Usually more, a lot of Americans actually, I think they like they go through to the drive-through, they eat in their cars, and because you have to like, oh, I'm running late, you have to go get back to work like in a half an hour, so you don't really have that time. And in Europe, like it's different. Like again, it's just like you're sitting down, and you're actually sitting down at a restaurant, you're maybe going out for a meal, and you're having lunch with other people, and it's more about savoring what you're actually eating and experiencing all the flavors and all of that. And I think probably that's why it's such a like stark difference from when it comes to like American eating and the European way. I think it's not just in France, but it was very interesting, and I hope that they do this all over France, and again, hopefully more countries can implement something like this, because maybe adapt it to each particular country. And it doesn't actually have to be like a 5-course meal, but I do like the fact that everything is homegrown and they do have like actual like chefs doing this and not, maybe I think it's a little bit impossible to have like, oh, everyone that worked as a chef, like actually at a big restaurant is able to do this. But I do think it's a really good, again, it pays off, and hopefully like it's good that more people actually like do create something like that. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.